Hi, I made over $500,000 of profit after tax at the age of 21, and just a few years ago I was making $4 a month by making memes on the internet. And there are 11 things that if I had a time machine, and maybe I have, I won't tell you, but if I had a time machine, I would go back and I would tell these 11 things to my younger self so he could be more successful, way faster, and with way less pain and mistakes. And the lesson number one that I would tell to my younger self would be, if you don't know what you need to do, learn, but when you know what to do, then take action. So this is very simple, but once I started, I didn't know how to become successful, right? So what I did, I started learning from people. I started consuming hundreds and hundreds of hours of audiobooks and thousands of hours of educational YouTube videos. And later down the line, when I started making money, I even spent over $120,000 on courses, mentorships, and programs that taught me a lot too. It's even more than this apartment that I've bought too. And the number one thing that I've learned is that once you know what to do, because once you start learning all of this information, learn about the habits, learn about the successful principles, learn from people that are already where you want to be, you will start noticing that like after some time you will see, oh, I've learned this, I've heard this somewhere, right? And that's the time when, in my opinion, you should start taking action. Because when you know what to do, the worst thing that you can do is just start learning more about it and say, oh, I'm not perfect, I'm not ready yet, I need to start for the perfect moment. But no, the best progress in life happens when you start when you are not ready yet, and you just do it, right? Recently, I flew to Las Vegas to a mastermind with successful entrepreneurs. There were entrepreneurs that were worth like hundreds of millions of dollars, and I wasn't ready to go there, right? I was nervous. I didn't want to travel 24 hours alone. I didn't know what's gonna happen there, but I just did it, right? And it was worth it. So you don't start or you don't take action when you're ready. You just, once you learned enough that you know what to do, even if it's not perfect, even if you don't know all the details, you need to take action, because the faster you act, the more progress you will make. Let's say you want to start making videos on Instagram or on YouTube, right? If you know already what you need to do, then just do it. You will learn faster than from anything else, and your progress will be faster, you will make more money, and everything else will become easier for you. Lesson number two that I would tell to my younger self would be speed. If you can do something today instead of tomorrow or the next week, you will move 7 times faster. This is obvious, but how often are we doing this, right? We are almost never. We are always procrastinating, looking at like, I will do it tomorrow. Oh, I'm not ready. I will do it the next week. I will do. But the faster you move, the faster you can get things done, the better your progress will be, and the faster you will become successful. That's pretty much it. The person that just learned what to do today and went and did it without trying to make it perfect, just took action fast, will be so much further ahead than the person that learns, takes action, but it takes like forever for him to do something. And I was this person, right? I was watching videos for days and days and days, and I knew I need to do this, and I was waiting. And like, why? Just act. If you can do things today, do them. Like, you will be amazed of how faster you can get things done if you actually want it. So that would be my second thing, which is simple, but like, that's the number one piece of advice that I think people need to hear nowadays, which is, if you know what to do, just move with speed. Number three, in your 20s, focus on developing a skill. As Robert Greene said, who is the author of 48 Laws of Power, which is a best-selling book, he said, have fun in your 20s if you want to, but also develop and you work on a useful skill, right? For example, sales, content creation, working on AI, digital marketing, getting attention online. All of these are good skills that you can start studying. So if you're in your 20s, or 40s, like, doesn't matter that much, you can have fun if you want to, right? But it would be very good if you can also develop skills, right? If you want to set yourself up for success later, then if you work on a skill set, work on learning how to sell, how to communicate, how to record videos, how to do negotiations, how to close deals, how to talk to business owners, how to get attention online, how to monetize attention online, all of these skills, right? Then it will set you up for life. And if you don't, then you will find yourself way older and you will say, oh, like, I don't have anything valuable. But in my opinion, the number one thing that you can do when you have the opportunity, when you're young, is to learn a skill, become valuable, become useful for the world, so then the world can pay you back with money, with resources, with respect, and all of that stuff that will be useful for you later down the line. The next thing is, I would try to play infinite games, if I could, when I started, as much as that's possible, right? So what is an infinite game? Infinite game is a game when you play it for the sake of playing. You don't play for some end result, right? For example, if you make YouTube videos to make some money, then it's a finite game, because when you make money, then what, right? But if you make YouTube videos for the sake of it, because you like doing it, then you can do it forever, right? Unless you stop liking it, basically. Or marriage. The point of marriage isn't to win marriage, it's to stay in marriage, right? Or the point of love isn't to like stop being loved, or like, no, it's about the making it last as long as possible, right? Or if you like playing soccer, right? You don't want the game to finish, especially when everything is going well and you're enjoying it. You want it to last as long as possible. So, or health, you never win at health. Oh, I won at health. No, the point is to stay healthy, right? So if you can find infinite games, like whatever you like to do, whatever you can devote yourself to, and you focus on that, your life will become so much easier, because you are not always running after the next thing, but you identified something that you just enjoy the process of which, and funnily enough, when you enjoy the process, then outcomes get better too, right? The people that enjoy making YouTube videos usually stay more consistent and get better results. People that usually enjoy sports, they have more passion and they work out longer, and they stay up for night to work out extra time because they love the game, and that's how they win, right? Michael Jordan talked about the same thing. If someone wants to become successful in basketball, in his opinion, they need to love the game. That's the first and most important thing. And I will tell you a quote that can help you with this practically, which is, you can ask yourself this question: what feels like play to you, but looks like work to others? So what is that thing, right? We all have that thing that like it's play, like you don't even consider it as work as much, right? But for other people, it's hard. For example, for me, it might be these videos, right? Just recording videos, speaking, helping clients, doing group calls. I've done hundreds of group calls. I've worked with some of the biggest YouTubers in the world, right? And that's easy for me. I like it. I have fun, right? Not every single second of it, always, all the time, but 99.9% of the time I'm enjoying it, and I'm in the zone, and I'm focused, and it is play for me, right? It can be something totally different for you, but ask yourself, like, what comes easy to you, but for others it's work? Because if you lean into that, then you will beat others, because others can compete, because they hate it, and you love it, so it's easy for you to do it. So what feels like play to you and looks like work to others, that's something that you can consider focusing on in your 20s. The next advice that I would give myself would be proximity. Get close to people that are where you want to be. That's the fastest way to get to your goals, right? To get to the destination. So, for example, if you want to get fit, if you start hanging around with people that are fit, that go to the gym, that eat healthy, it will be so much easier for you to do the same. Why? The reason is simple. Because we humans are social creatures, social animals, social beings. You can call it however you want. And for that reason, we are trying to get validation from the people that surround us and from the people that we compare ourselves to. So when you get in proximity, when you get close to people that, let's say, are financially successful, if that's what you want to do, you start watching their podcasts, listening to their audiobooks, reading their books, watching their YouTube videos, messaging them, buying a program from them, jumping on a call, meeting them in real life, whatever you can do. If you get in proximity to them and learn from them, right, you will want to get validation from them. That's how it works, right? If you hang around with 5 rich people, you probably will end up being rich subconsciously, because, or at least you will start making more money, because you will like to be accepted by that group subconsciously. So you need to be like them. So if you hang out with people that are already where you want to be, like, it will become just so much easier for you to get there. You'll learn from them, you will see patterns of their behaviors, they will share with you their mistakes, so you won't have to repeat them, and everything will become super, super easy. So if you want to become financially free, learn from people that are financially free. And this is the first step, that you are watching this video. That means you are watching other YouTube videos too, probably. So you're on the right track, for as long as you also implement the stuff that you are learning. The next thing is document your journey, right? What do I mean? A lot of people, when they start a YouTube channel, Instagram account, start their freelancing online business, anything, right? They always, like, they can't wait. They are too impatient to get to the destination. And what they usually miss, and what I missed a lot, was documenting the journey, right? So if I start again, I would tell myself, please take more pictures, record videos when you're struggling, so you can always use it in the future as proof that you also started not from a great position, right? And most importantly, do it for yourself, because when you, after 2, 3, 5 years, when you look back at the first like what were you thinking, when you can look at the journaling of yours that you did, or videos that you recorded, or screenshots that you took, or voice messages that you recorded for yourself, you see how much you have grown, and it gives you so much peace, so much confidence, and so much gratitude and appreciation that, oh, I've grown so much, right? And you appreciate the present, and you have more energy and inspiration to keep working harder, so your next version of yourself is even better than your current self, right? So that really puts things into perspective, gives you patience, makes you work harder, inspires you, makes you more happy. So if you can, document the journey, right? If you're right now struggling, this is the best moment to start documenting it. So when you make it, right, whatever is your goal, you can always have that documentation that you weren't always there, and it will inspire you and maybe others around you too, if you decide to share it at some point. The next advice that I would give myself would be, you can connect the dots only backwards, so just keep going. So what do I mean? This is a speech from Steve Jobs, if you have watched it. I think he gave the speech in the Stanford University graduates, if I'm not mistaken, so you can watch it on YouTube. But he said something interesting, which is, when you start, right, and you go through failures and you go through some opportunities, it doesn't ever make sense what's gonna happen in the future. You don't know, right? But if you actually trust the process and focus on just putting one step in front of the other, what usually happens is that once you like keep going, at some points you get into a new opportunity that you only were able to get to just because of your past failures. Let me explain what do I mean. So as I said in the beginning of the video, I was making memes on the internet and making $4 a month a few years ago. But in that process, I learned how to do basic Canva and Photoshop skills, right? When I could put pictures together, I can put text on it, I can search stuff on the internet. I learned basic skills, right? How to communicate with people, to try to sell my memes and all of this stuff, how to make them funny. I studied a little bit human psychology for that, and all of that skills, right? So then what happened is, a few years after, I started my Face Class YouTube channels, right? It's a business model that I was running, and for that, I needed the skill set of Photoshop, right? To make thumbnails, to make this, and only then I was able to know and connect the dots by looking forward, by looking backwards and saying, oh, so that part was necessary for me to be here, right? And then through growing my Faceless YouTube channels, I learned a lot on how YouTube channels grow, right? How you can do that. And that's why I started helping others how to do that. And that made me a lot of money and had a lot of impact too, right? And after that, because I've done that, I've grown my coaching business, other people wanted to learn how they can grow their personal brand, their coaching business. For example, we have grown about 100,000 followers on Instagram, right? From zero in less than a year. And once I learned that, right, then I started another. So you can only make sense by looking back and connecting the dots, but in the moment, like, you can't know. So all you have to do is just trust the process and know. You don't know how it's gonna work out, but I promise, if you just focus on putting one step in front of the other, work harder, get better daily, keep improving, don't give up, then in 1, 2, 3 months, or 1, 2, 3 years, right, depends on the situation, some new things will be, and it will look will pop up, and it will look like an overnight success, but you will only be able to be there just because of your past failures, past successes, past situations, things that you didn't know that could help you in the future. So if you're, just know that in the future it will make sense and you will be proud of your younger self. So now all you have to do is just trust the process, keep getting better, and don't stop. The next thing that I would tell to my younger self would be, imperfect action is better than perfect inaction. So I'm a perfectionist, or I like to think I am, so I procrastinate a lot, right? When I know, oh, I'm going to make this video, I think, oh, should I prepare it? Should I think about stories I'm going to tell? Maybe I should do it tomorrow. Right now it's a little bit dark, so maybe I should wait for it to be sunny so I have better lighting. Should people, will this be helpful to people, right? And all of these things. But what I have learned is that, if you just think about, oh, I want it to be perfect, but you don't go and try to make it perfect because it's not possible, then you would rather just take imperfect action, because that's better than the perfect inaction, right? So what most people think? Most people think, oh, if my videos aren't gonna be perfect, if my reels on Instagram are gonna be perfect, if I'm not great at communication skills, I shouldn't start, right? I shouldn't start anything. But that's not true, because if it is true, right? If it's not perfect that you shouldn't start, that means that you should not do anything, because nothing is perfect. What's the definition of perfect? Who decides what is perfect? You can make the perfect thing in your opinion, and it takes 10 times longer time, but for me it might be worse. So you made it worse, you think it's perfect, but for me it's not. So it's most of the time it's not objective. It's subjective, right? It's your opinion. So you're just like procrastinating and using that excuse, or at least that is for me, and not taking action. So you would rather just go and do it, even if it's imperfect. You will still end up in a better situation than if you don't do anything. So if you want to, for example, exercise, right? You would rather just go for a walk. So for example, today I didn't want to do it, but I went out, I went for a walk, and that was nice. Got some sunlight, right? It wasn't perfect. I didn't do a 2-hour exercise. No, but like, was it better than me just sitting there and thinking about how the perfect exercise would look like and me not doing it? Of course it was better. At least I did something. So if you want to be a perfectionist, either like try to make it perfect in your definition, but if you think that you are not going to do that because all of that pressure, just at least do something. And if you do something and you do it again and again and again, guess what? You are improving, and improving means that you are getting closer to that perfect that you are trying to achieve. So imperfect action beats perfect in action all the time, and I've seen this so many times. I know people that are making millions of dollars a year, people that are healthy, people that are achieving their goals, people that basically are becoming the best version of themselves. Most of them, they just act. They just, oh, let me do this, right? And sometimes people way dumber than you are living better lives just because they are doing it. And some of them are scared. But that's what courage is. You feel scared, but you do it anyway, and you go and take action. So if you're watching this, if that thought that other people might be doing better than you when they are not more than capable than you, they are not more than ethical to you, they don't have better conditions, they just act, that should give you, in my opinion, some inspiration to go and act as well, because that's how you get your goals. So I would highly recommend to my younger self to take this seriously, because he spent too much time on just waiting and procrastinating. So just doing something is always better than nothing, most of the time. Number 9, try to think first principles to get clarity. It's amazing what you can achieve by trying to consistently not to be stupid instead of trying to be really smart, right? So this is a quote from Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger. So they are billionaires. Warren Buffett's net worth, I think, is $100 billion, something crazy. He's, I think, in the top 5 richest people in the world, and he got there ethically. He has a lot of respect. He had a lot of impact. He gave a lot of money to charity, right? So we can say that he lives and lived a good life for most people's definition, right? And a simple life and useful life to others too. And the thing that he talks about all the time is that you don't really have to be the smartest person in the world, right? All you have to do is just try to not be stupid and think with the first principles. So what are first principles? These are basically some truths that you know as close to 100% are correct, right? Elon Musk is using this too. For example, if you want to become successful on Twitter, right? Just for the sake of example, it can be anything. And you are trying to think, okay, like, when should I start? What's the best strategy? What time should I post? Like, instead of trying to overwhelm yourself with all of these things, think to yourself, like, what Twitter wants from me, right? Oh, probably they want my tweets to be valuable so people read it. So because people read it, because it's valuable, they stay on the platform. And because they stay on the platform, they can be shown more ads from Twitter, and Twitter will make more money. So that's probably what Twitter wants, right? More people on the platform and people staying longer on the platform so they can watch more ads and Twitter can make more money, right? If you think about that way, then if you try to optimize for that, make tweets that you believe would be helpful for people. And if you don't know what tweets would be helpful for people, you can ask, okay, is anyone else doing it, right? Oh, this guy is doing it, so what are they doing differently? And try to emulate them and take inspiration from it. And then you try it and do it and post tweets for 30 days, and then you see which one worked best, and you do more of this. And then you slowly learn, right? So this doesn't take a genius. But what people try to do is to come up with one genius strategy that will make them a millionaire overnight, right? But that's not how it works. If you want to become successful, like, don't overcomplicate it. If you want to become successful on YouTube, just don't stop making valuable videos. If you start and then don't stop making valuable videos and try to make them a little bit better, you will succeed. Right? If not in the next month, in the next year, in the next 5 years, 10 years, you will get there, right? So for example, this channel, it's a personal brand channel that I'm mainly targeting entrepreneurs. So it's usually that doesn't get as many views, right? But I will try to make them better. This channel made me a lot of money, a lot of money. Some days, 5-figure profit days, right? With a few thousand subscribers. It's not perfect, but like, I started, I make videos, and results happen. So it's not easy, it takes work. But if you think about in first principles, pretty much nothing can stop you, right? You can say, oh, I want to get healthy, but I don't know what food I should eat. I don't know, go to the gym or exercise at home. Like, think in first principles. Do you think that if you start, just like stop eating processed food or sugar food. I do it all the time, by the way, as well, so I'm not perfect. But if you do that, if you try to do that and you try to exercise more, do you think your health will get better? Probably yes. So start doing that. Before hiring a personal trainer, if you can't afford it, before anything else, think in the first principles. Don't overthink it, right? It's a simple thing to make things complex, and it's a complex thing to make things simple. So try to make things simple, right? Because if you don't, there's entropy in the world, which means things get messier and or there's more chaos in the world. For example, if you leave your room empty, like if you leave your room as it is, and you don't try to intentionally keep it clean, and you just live your life, do you think with time your room will become messier or your room will become cleaner? What do you think? Like you just live your life and you don't try to be intentional. I think it will become messy, right? You will have clothes all over the place, etc., etc. But so to be able to have order, you need to be intentional about it, right? Otherwise, entropy will destroy it. So for that reason, to overcome entropy, you need to, because life is complex anyway, you need to, at least you don't overcomplicate it and make it simple. And for that, just think in the first principles. You don't have to be a genius. Just say, what is true, right? Oh, I think this is true. Or I think that if I talk to more people, I can make more sales. Or I think if I listen to better communicators, I can become a better communicator. Or I think if I practice my skill of copywriting more, I can get better at it. Or if I send more emails for podcast invitations, more people will say yes. So just first principles, right? You don't have to be a genius, and as Warren Buffett said, it is amazing what you can accomplish if you just try to consistently not be stupid instead of trying to be some amazing smart guy. If you do this, you can have the life of your dreams, I promise. That's what I would tell to my younger self that was thinking to come up with some genius strategy. Number 10, do what you love. And the difference between this on the macro and micro. So if you are doing something that you hate every single second, it's not sustainable. Probably you are going to give up. Probably it's not going to worth it. Probably sooner or later you are going to burn out. So what I would do is I would pick something that you genuinely love. And if you don't know what you love, pick something that you love more than what you are doing now, for example, right? Now, I'm not saying that you should have shiny objects syndrome. If you are doing something, you are making progress, it's not perfect, but it's good, and you are making money, stick with it, for sure. But if you hate something, right? If you hate some vehicle, if you hate some business, if you hate some relationship in your life, if you hate something about yourself, try to change it. Try to pick something that you love, because your life will get so much easier, right? For me, for example, I was in a business that was making me a lot of money, but I didn't like that as much. So I stopped, right? Although that business was making me $50,000 a month. I stopped it. So I changed it, and I picked something that I love, which is right now what I'm doing. And through that, I was more consistent. People could see that, and I started making more money. So do what you love. And here's the difference. It doesn't mean that every single detail needs to be perfect, right? There's a difference between macro and micro. So macro is the big picture, and the micro is the small pictures. So you need to love the thing that you are doing on the macro, right? So let's say you can love your relationship with your friend or something else on the macro. You love them, right? But there can be some situation where you had an argument. Like on the small situations, that's fine. Or another example, you might love making YouTube videos. So on the macro, you love it, but you might hate uploading YouTube videos manually on the channel. You might hate doing the research, but you know it's necessary, but you love recording, sharing, you love everything else. Then it's fine, right? That it is okay. People try to be in the extremes, and that's what I didn't understand, right? I was either in something that I hated, or I tried to make everything else perfect. No, pick something that you genuinely love, but inside of it, if there's something that you don't like, that's okay to tolerate it. That's okay to keep going if that things that you don't like, the result of it will be something good. For example, you might love your health, but don't like as much exercising. But if you exercise anyway, right, you get what you love, you get health, right? So on the macro, that's different. On the micro, you will have to have discipline and to push yourself. So that's the advice that I would give myself. Not sure if this was practical or not, but I would recommend it. I've been around so many successful people in all realms of life, and number one thing I've noticed that they have in common, most of them do what they love. Even if they say, hey, I hate what I do, or hey, be disciplined, then they love being disciplined. They love the outcomes of their work. That's what they are a crazy person that loves that. That's why they can endure anything. So if you are that person, awesome. But if you are not, then you need to pick something that you love and then stick for it for the long term, right? And then on the micro, small situations, if there's difficulties, obstacles, it will be everywhere, no matter what you pick, no matter even if you do things that you like. So in that case, you need to have discipline. The next thing is it takes less than 20 hours to figure things out, so just try it. So when I wanted to learn how to record these videos, right? I didn't know, like Can I record on my iPhone? What kind of lighting should I have? Like how long it's gonna take? How I'm gonna edit? Am I gonna edit or not? Where should I place it? Like, what's the difference between 30 FPS and 60 FPS? What resolution should I record it at? I was thinking, oh, like it's so hard. But usually it takes less than 20 hours, usually way less, to figure out pretty much anything, right? If you don't know how to set up a Facebook ads account, it will probably take less than 20 hours. If you don't know how to start a coaching business, it will probably take you less than 20 hours. You will know the next action step. And remember the first tip I gave, if you don't know what to do, learn. And if when you know what to do and it's enough, go and take action. You will learn faster, right? And in less than 20 hours, you can learn anything. And then it becomes about taking action, failing, getting feedback from the real world. And that's how you will become better, right? So it takes less than 20 hours, but this is a quote from Alex Hormozi. It takes less than 20 hours to learn anything, but people spend years, sometimes decades, delaying that first 20 hours. Think about this. That was the case for me so many times, right? I could have just started this YouTube channel years before. I didn't, because I thought, oh, how am I gonna come up with ideas? How am I gonna do this? But if I just spent like 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 hours, yes, sometimes up to 20, depending on how difficult the thing is, like it's basically less than a week, trying for a couple of hours a day, and you figure it out and you start, and like the difference between of you starting now and what your results will be in 5 years and versus you start in 4 years, and the difference between that 1 year, it's huge. The sooner you start things, the more progress you will make, and the sooner you will achieve your goals. No matter it's health, it's getting fit, it's finding a spouse, it's getting great relationships, it's learning how to be present and enjoy life, it's helping people and having impact, it's starting a company that helps the world. Whatever it is, whatever you are trying to accomplish, whatever you actually want, right? You really, really want. All it takes, just learn 20 hours. So if you're watching this video, for some of us, there will be something that you have in your mind, right? There's something that you want to do. Maybe you want to travel, maybe you want to try something. Please, just try it for less than 20 hours to learn it. It's not as hard as you think. Everything is figure-outable, right? You can figure out everything if you actually try. So if there's something, like there's nothing better than you can do to go and learn, and you will say, oh gosh, like why didn't start learning this sooner, right? It was so much simpler once I started immersing myself than I thought. And then with every step, the path becomes clearer, and boom, if you don't give up, eventually, guess what happens? You achieve your goals. Hope this video was helpful. Let me know in the comments what advice would you give to your younger self, and let's learn from each other. Cheers.